Nope.
I got fucking hockey all-star game or something.
All right. Welcome. It's showtime. Welcome to the Hell in a Cell post pay-per-view show.
Post game, post pay-per-view, wrap up, recap show.
Pre-sleep. Because
you guys are, I guess, from Father's Day and sitting around drinking and and then a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
we're like, whoa!
I'm happy to be here. This is gonna be fun.
Yes.
Did you get some sun today, Phil?
It looks like it.
Might have this weekend, maybe.
You're a little red.
Okay. I don't know what it is.
So Tommy says he just got home and he's jumping in the shower. So we might see. It looks like we might see Tommy Paradise jump on here after going out and doing the V formation with the Mighty Ducks.
Who's the man? Who's the fourth man?
So as we can see, we got our boy, friend of the show, Mike Lanham. We got the hot take kid, Phil Gentile, is also in the house, and we're gonna talk about the pay-per-view. Just overall, before we go deeper, would just on the top layer, what did you guys think?
I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, you know me, I don't really watch Raw or SmackDown anymore, so I've been avoiding all the the recycled, rehashed crap they've been doing week in, week out. But I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, it was stacked top to bottom. I mean, the first two matches were great. We'll get to them. That main event kind of ended in a kind of a stupid ending. But just putting the cat off my desk. But overall, it's a pretty good show. What do you think, Mike?
It had its moments. I mean, anything is going to be better than Raw right now.
Right.
So, like Phil said, there are some good matches and some good wrestling on this card. I think, obviously, everything is trying to build towards SummerSlam. And then Money in the Bank, in my opinion, always ends up being one of the better pay-per-views of the year. So I've got high hopes for that next month, especially if they're going to have a crowd. Like, that's the first pay-per-view in front of a crowd outside of Mania.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right. They're in Vegas, too. So, I think even just getting the tourists, like the people that just want to go to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So,
their tickets are super expensive, but
I couldn't handle it, but
I mean, obviously they're going to have to build some pretty big matches, but I mean, people are going to go regardless. But if they think they're going to sell every seat in that stadium, they're going to have to announce some pretty big names and still have some surprises along the way.
And if you do surprises, you probably want to have them show up at Money in the Bank, so then you can promote them, and sell tickets for Brock Lesnar or Cena or somebody coming back and wrestling at SummerSlam. So it makes sense.
Exactly. All right, so let's go into it. So we had the kickoff show here with Natalya and Mandy Rose.
Oh, I'm so pissed off I missed this match.
I didn't see this.
So we had Natalya getting the win in the end. It was, you damn near could have put this match on Raw. But
they really are trying to build hey, we're eventually going to give Mandy and Dana a title shot. But I think we had the same thing happen with Mandy and Sonya, and it never happened. So I don't know if I get they're trying to put different women in these tag matches, but their tag team women's division is just so bad.
No, they're not building the story. So that's why we're missing the Iconics here. Like, the Iconics had a story that was believable, that they were a team.
Right.
And so now you have these put together teams. Like, you have, like Mandy Rose's team is just like, oh, let's just put the two blonde women together. Like, that's basically what it seems like they did. So we need some more, it reminds me, when we're if you guys have been watching the top 50 with the tag teams and how they were showing the stories of how these tag teams got together, and back then they just did a better job of telling you how this tag team should be a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing that now. They're just kind of throwing them together and saying, here's a title shot. Like, wait, what? So.
And they have these belts, going across Raw and SmackDown. You can't get a decent tag division between both
shows.
Right.
Come on.
And then you got and there was no tag there's no tag matches tonight. There was no tag team match.
That. I like that.
It'd be hard to go back and think when was the last time you had a pay-per-view that was all singles matches.
Yeah.
All right. So then when we got Pyro and Hell in a Cell's actually starting, we had the Women's SmackDown Championship with Bianca Belair and Bayley. Your thoughts?
This was a great match, right?
Yeah, it's a good wrestling match. Yeah. I don't think they needed this to be a Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
These two are probably two of the four best wrestlers they have in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not. I am sold on Bianca, where at the same time I'm not, as like the person carrying the title. I liked it when she was chasing it. I just don't know if they're sold on her as like that lead character. She has the look. She has the right personality. She can wrestle. I just don't know if she has the package when it all comes together. Maybe because she just doesn't have that character quite yet. So, but I thought the match was great. I like that she kept the belt. They don't need to just take it off of her. Give her some time with it. It'll be interesting to see what they do next, because I hate seeing the immediate rematch, and this feels like it's kind of been going on for a while with Bayley. So, with like we said, obviously with Money in the Bank, that kind of opens up a lot of opportunity, and then with SummerSlam, I think she'll hold it till at least then.
Right. Yeah, because like you're saying, I felt like this match was they're trying to kind of showcase that she can win a match where she is in peril. Like she was in peril in this match, and she and so so it's just I did like how this was an epic match, an epic back and forth match, and you had they brought out all the stuff from underneath the ring. I thought I enjoyed this match. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like Bayley as a heel. She does great, and I think it was I love her telling Michael Cole to shut up when she could hear him talking at ringside. That was great. It was a cool finish with that I don't know how long Bianca's been doing that move, but it was kind of like a reverse Samoan drop, like off her shoulders kind of thing onto the ladder. That was cool. They did a couple of things with the hair, which was like a new twist on the cage. But I agree with you guys. I don't think any of these matches really needed to be in a Hell in a Cell. I'd rather have just a Hell in a Cell randomly whenever there's a huge feud we need to blow off. I don't know if these two have I don't know if a Hell in a Cell warrants just Bayley laughing at Bianca Belair, and that being the main storyline of this, because that's what it seemed like the build-up in the promo package was. But it was a good match. It was probably one of my favorite matches of the night. But I am wondering what they're going to do with Bianca because she does have that look. I just don't know. When they interview her after matches, I just don't get like a ton of like character from her.
So Mike Skill.
Yeah,
Mike Skill there.
She's still in her first year on the main roster. So
yeah, it's almost like a genuine type reaction, like how excited she is to win the title. Like a real person. She just doesn't have that character that works as the. And I guess she's a face and stuff. I almost wonder if at some point she turns heel, and then it really probably works better for her, because then she's a character. Because then she's a character, right? Yeah, if you're gonna tell everybody you're the best and the greatest and all that, I feel like you could be a heel and do that. So we'll see what happens, especially if they end up taking the Street Profits off TV, because it kind of seems like they're kind of pushing for both of them to have like injuries and stuff, and they may take them off TV for a little while.
Did Montez really get, or Montez? No. No? Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't pay enough attention to SmackDown sometimes, like going through it. I noticed that they were kind of doing it towards him, and now kind of to his partner now too. So it's like, are they kind of building that? Are they going to take him off TV, then bring him back in like 2 or 3 months or something? Because they're kind of the same way. They had a run there for a while, had the belts, and then since then they've kind of been like, oh, it's the big tag team to fight, but they're losing pretty much most of their matches. To me, it seems. Maybe not. I'd almost have to go back and look.
Right. No, 50. It's like 50-50 booking, basically.
Yeah. Because for a while there, they couldn't lose. They were like the New Day.
Right.
They're winning every single match.
So Bleacher Report gave Bianca versus Bayley a B.
Okay.
Let's see. Next match. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
Yep, still going with this. Obviously, both these guys can go in the ring. It was a good match. I do like the storyline of basically like Seth Rollins saying Cesaro doesn't belong here, and him just not being able to get that that win over him, and Cesaro kind of being the face. So this was cool. I don't know if they're going to stretch this out. Like Mike said again, all these matches feel like they're going to go again till SummerSlam, I guess, but.
Well, you're 1-1 here, I guess, technically. So how do you, if you're going to have this decided match, it almost has to be a gimmick match, right? Like, what kind of match do you put those two in that has a payoff?
Yeah.
And what's kind of and that's kind of what I think it makes it awkward that you got Money in the Bank coming up, and those are two guys that
should be in it.
Yeah, that's two guys that I'm pretty sure unanimously we would say should be in that match. And it's okay to have a rivalry, like two guys that are in a rivalry storyline and Money in the Bank. Like that's kind of what makes it exciting. So that's kind of what I see. I kind of see them. They might continue, when we get into the next match, you might see those two guys also in Money in the Bank. But I am liking that we're seeing Cesaro be in some big time singles matches. Like that's what I'm happy about. And he's not, he's just not going out there and jobbing either. Like, so yeah, he lost this match tonight, but it was like, Seth Rollins had to do all kinds of shit to do it.
And he lost to a roll up. So it's not like he got dominated. He didn't take a curb stomp.
No,
he lost to a kind of a fluke move. So it doesn't make either one of them look bad. And that's where you get the third match. And
yeah. So it looks like Rollins, desperation win, doing something kind of slick to win the match, not dominant. Hot take, Kid.
I mean, it was probably just about as good as the WrestleMania match, but I'm just wondering what you're going to do with Seth Rollins here. He's just stuck on kind of a holding period here because you dropped the whole cult, whatever that was,
well, none of those guys are there. They fired every one of them.
You don't have no Colt around. Yeah.
Guys. But then you have Reigns as the champion, so he's not like you're going to put a heel versus heel in that spot. So you're kind of waiting for someone else to win the belt before you put Rollins back into the main event. But I just feel like he needs to be back in that main event. I'd love to see him in the Hell in a Cell.
Well, I think.
go ahead.
No, finish what you're saying.
I mean, you can move forward a storyline like that with both of those guys in that match without them having a third match on a Money in the Bank pay-per-view and kind of like when you have a storyline told through the Royal Rumble, so that would be kind of cool and save from having an extra match there.
Yeah, I mean, if you have them in the Money in the Bank together, what I don't want to happen is they fight each other on SmackDown and the winner gets in Money in the Bank and the other one is left out.
Yeah,
because I can see that happening. And then obviously, even if they have a normal match and Cesaro loses, then the WWE universe is going to be like, see, Cesaro never gets his push. But then if Cesaro wins and never gets a title shot, or then everybody's like, well, what about Rollins? You're not doing anything with him. I think in the end, it's all going to kind of come together. Win. Yeah, well, in the end, I think it's going to come together with what happens with the draft, like who moves where. Because I think for me, I think the big thing is to put Rollins and Edge together at some point. So I think, I think they'd be great to match together. I think that's a SummerSlam, semi-main event type match. If you can find a way to build that and put them on the same show together.
Oh man, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
This was so this is now two straight matches here to start the show off. They're really good. So can't complain.
B- from Bleacher Report. All right, so then we get weird, and we have Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler.
Wow. Yeah, this is not what Shayna Baszler signed up for. And in her defense, I mean, she's an ass kicking like Ken Shamrock type, and you're trying to make her act and be scared of a puppet. I don't know what is the reason to keep Fiend off of, to bring him back and the stop and starts. Is there a reason? Is this
Yes.
like just building towards something, or what are we doing here?
No, but
taking over the Fiend character.
Yeah, real life, Bray is not doing well with Brody Lee's death.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a mental health kind of a situation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help after he lost to Orton. Like fans just like tore him up on Twitter about like how he's supposed to be this like unbeatable whatever force or being or stuff like that, and then he loses, so the fans ridicule him, and you've got that on top of mental health issues, and they just take you off TV, and you try to decide what you're going to do with the character. So it'll be interesting to see how they bring him back again. Like, do they figure out a way to put him and Alexa back together? Do they end the whole Fiend thing? He just goes back to being Bray Wyatt. I just feel like you've got to find a way to make the whole storyline come together and have a good payoff. Otherwise, you wasted like 2 years on this character. You wasted a whole year on Alexa. Like, I mean, Alexa was the best thing on TV there for a while, and right now it's just bad writing, bad acting. Like, she's not too bad. It's the people they have to put her with, because
right.
Like
no, she's doing great with the character.
The Shayna's not an actor, but I mean, who else do you really have to put her together with on Raw? Like, you're not going to put Charlotte in a story like that. You're not going to put Rhea in a story like that. Like, you have to use your mid card, your B and C type females right now, and no one's going to care if it's a Mandy Rose or somebody like that, or Sonya, or the dancing girl, Naomi.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just hard to pick and choose without like killing the storyline altogether. Like, if you just end it, people would be like, "That went nowhere. You did nothing with it." Like, there's potential to eventually make something out of it, but eventually people are also going to give up on it. It's never going to be what people want it to be. Yeah.
At least we got to see Alexa actually in a match. Like,
right.
She hasn't been in. Yeah. So, but you had the magical stuff happening, and you got Nia Jax getting hypnotized and slapping the shit out of Reginald. I did kind of enjoy that part.
You kind of got too many pieces.
Yeah,
for it. Like, you got her, you've got Alexa, you've got Bray somewhere, and then you've got 3 or 4 people on the sidelines with Reginald and Nia and all that. So, and then eventually, I don't know, on Raw, I guess they'll continue it. It'll be something with Nia now, and it's not going to get better anytime soon.
Oh, well, this got an F on Bleacher Report.
I think most Shayna anything outside of NXT could probably get an F. She has just not had a good Raw career.
I mean, it just, they could have kept the character that she already had in NXT and just transferred it over. Like, there was no need to fiddle with anything.
Yeah, I mean, that could have had to have done with having Rousey on the roster and stuff like that. You couldn't have 2 people with similar characters, maybe.
But she was I guess what made her different to me was that she was a heel that, like, yeah, she could fight, but anytime the match started to not go her way, she would find a way to cheat. Like, that was what was happening on NXT. So Ronda was the baby face that could fight and, would just, win like a hero. So, so you did, you had like a, almost like an evil, like a evil Ronda clone there. But they're not doing it. Like, they're not, I think my biggest mistake they made with Ronda was just not letting her talk. Like, just say, hey, this is what's going on in this storyline. Say what you would say at UFC, at a UFC press conference and leave and let her do it. Like she knows she knows what she's doing, but they kept giving her a script.
Right.
So, so like you said, hopefully something better comes out of that.
I think, like I said earlier, I think they're just trying to get to SummerSlam. I think they're trying to get to the draft.
Money in the Bank has got to be like they got to do something with that. Like,
yeah, I mean, you've obviously got like I know it's cheesy and they say it's a shakeup and stuff. I think it always starts out really well, but I think somebody said the other day this is the fourth draft in like 28 months or something. Woo! Like it's more than just once a year now. So
yeah,
I guess we'll see how many people they move around and who gets called up and stuff like that. So,
and this is what's making me think about just like having just the mid-card titles stay on the show and just having a universal world and tag titles. And then I think all the storylines and everything would be a whole lot like that would make it a whole lot more interesting.
Yeah.
I think even the mid card, like if you have all these mid card guys going for that whatever that title is, I think that makes it more like that makes that it even gives more value to that title. So, yeah, it just I think all of these titles kind of water down what's happening, and you have, and like not that like I mean there's not a whole lot of people I'm missing from the cuts at this point, but they do like you gotta like bring some of the women up then from like your women rosters are very short, like so you have people that we like what happened to Io Shirai, like it seems like we had her last match and like she could have been wrestling by now.
Yeah, it's been weird. I mean, they definitely need an influx. I mean, you get rid of these people, but we haven't had like a good post WrestleMania influx of like NXT guys like we get every year,
right?
And now we're watching matches like how many times have we seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn wrestle each other? Now it's not going to be a bad match, but like I had zero interest in that match at all. Like seeing them.
Great segue because that was the next match.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could say that about almost everything on this card. Like, all these people have fought each other multiple weeks in a row, like Lashley and McIntyre and Cesaro and Rollins, and same thing with like Sheamus on Raw. Like he fights the same people every week. So,
yeah, and Zayn and Owens, like you're saying, like they are. You can do them like a crock pot. You can just set it and forget it, and they're gonna give you a solid match.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a bad match. They're too familiar with each other. Like
yeah, and they don't. I think at this point they don't really care who goes over. They just want to have a good match.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have that issue
on the same side at some point again together. It's good as like a buddy duo, but I do like the Sami Zayn kind of like conspiracy theories.
I do too. I'm liking this character. Yeah.
But I also like heel Kevin Owens so much better than face Kevin Owens.
Right.
Yeah.
So that one got a B. That match got a B.
Yeah.
All right. Women's title. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair. What your thoughts?
Man, Charlotte Flair looks so different than she did like a year ago. I mean, obviously she's had some work done on her face, whatever, that's her business.
Right.
She's lost a lot of muscle mass. I mean, she's really thinned out. Like she seems like a totally different like person now. Like she doesn't have that size differential over a lot of people anymore. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
No.
Yeah, her, like you're saying, like I said this when she came back. I'm like, I know, like I saw, her boyfriend go on social media and blast everybody for talking about her plastic surgery. But it's like, but dude, it's obvious. Like she did something to her. Like that's not her face. Like she didn't do her face. and then with the weight, like you're saying, I don't know. Like I like I'm not enough of a certified certified coach to know like what's going on with her muscle, like because her body is not like she doesn't even fill out. She's wearing her her usual shorts and top today, and it didn't fill out the way it usually does, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the match though was good.
What's
I'm
up,
kind of
Mike?
wondering. Wait, what's wrong? You leaving?
No.
No,
It's
I
in
was
the
just
corner.
like,
Oh,
we
my
have.
Puma.
I was like, can you see La Puma in the corner?
What's up? Yeah, no, I was looking. I'm reading like the recap of the card so I can follow along with the matches.
Right.
What do you think of turning Ripley heel at the end there? Is that what they're kind of going for?
I
She's
mean,
like a
she
tweener.
she was kind of talking shit back and forth. She said, "I didn't do anything. Like basically, I didn't do anything you wouldn't do."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I mean, obviously they would be great together as a tag team, but they're gonna be this. It's trying to be the new Sasha Bailey, where they're just gonna continually fight and chase the title. But you also, at the same time, I think you have to limit how many Charlotte Flair championships there are because
Man.
she's already like 13 or 14, something like that. Like she's gonna pass her dad, and then everybody's gonna ridicule WWE for that. So
Right.
Yeah. I could see her for a year run in the women's tag division and give that some life. You know, like why not?
yeah, I mean, you almost need it. Like, but they would be so dominant. I mean, either one of them, they could put them with almost anybody, and they would be considered dominant right now. This was a good match. The ending was kind of whatever. Like, and I was talking to some people, and they were like, "When has anyone ever been DQ'd for hitting someone with part of the table?" And I'm like, "Well, normally they throw that on the ground. They go through the table. She hit her with the table. It's a little
Right.
different, but I mean, it's a cheapy ending. Doesn't make either one of them look bad for winning or losing or whatever. I mean, obviously they're just going to fight again in some method, but I really don't know who currently on the roster would really fight for the title outside of if Charlotte's not the one fighting for the belt. There's not a lot there
Yeah, because it
currently.
seems like they're giving as a much deserved rest to Asuka. Like she's been going since the pandemic. Like, I'm pretty sure she needed some rest.
She's on SmackDown, so she's I could see her maybe moving over to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that?
Sasha Banks.
Sasha, yeah. Oh, Sasha's been off TV for a while, so
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then again, Io Shirai, Io
Shirai. That's kind of what I'm
hoping
hoping happens with Money in the Bank. That like somebody like an Io Shirai is in that match, even if she doesn't win it, just to be like some fresh blood.
Yes.
Yeah, you add something like a high flyer to the match because
Mia Yim.
Yeah.
And have her be her Mia Yim character with the
I think they're going to bring that character back to TV. I just don't know if it'll be on Raw, if they'll move her back to NXT. But she's another one of those ones. If you bring her in and she loses her first match to Shayna or something, everybody's going to shit on it. So
right,
I'd love to see her like be a powerhouse and win some matches and stuff. But yeah, just the whole whatever the stupid group was that didn't last very long. Like that just did not go over well. And I don't know if it's because you didn't have a crowd, if it just bad storytelling, the whole mask thing. Like because when they did the whole invasion thing with like the Nexus or even the WCW invasion, like those were great. This just they tried to copy it and it was just a bad.
Well, yeah, because I the only time I was like, okay, this is pretty cool is when they came with the chainsaws and cut the ropes.
Yeah, like those first nights, right?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, let's keep going. And they didn't. It went flat after that. Yeah. B- for the Flair Ripley match, by the way.
Yeah, that's about right. What about putting Charlotte? I loved the Miz and the Mizdow thing where you had like a lackey kind of character, and they did that kind of when Charlotte first came up with like Dana. I think Dana Brooke was like kind of her like little sidekick type thing. You did something like that where you can make them tag team champs. Charlotte bosses her around, and then they eventually lose the belt. She blames the other person. Then you have a feud, singles feud going for a while, and you make someone else into like you turn a Dana Brooke into somebody who can compete on Charlotte's level. That's what you got to do, and you got to, if you want to keep Charlotte out of that title picture for a while,
have her have some kind of other of a feud to get her away from the title. No, I can see that. Even if like right now, if she went to NXT, I don't see her like I think, Rodriguez or Gonzalez. Gonzalez is bigger than Charlotte. Like I don't see, like, Charlotte just doesn't dominate over her, just like eyeball test. So that's even something. That would be even something for her to try to go back and like kind of like what they did with Finn.
Wow, yeah, she's 6 feet tall, supposedly, according to Wikipedia.
Let's see. All right, main event.
Main event time.
You had the big guys. You had Drew and you had Bobby.
Slapping meat.
And going through tables, everything. Referees go like we had like our old, old like Attitude Era. This match kind of reminded me Attitude Era. Like you had referees get knocked out. You had referees being pulled out of the ring before they counted 3. Everything.
Drew flipping the bird to Lashley.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Your thoughts?
Mike, you can start.
It was a good match. They usually put on a good match. The sell adds to it. I missed, I guess, maybe the announcement that if Drew lost this match, he couldn't fight Lashley for the belt again. I must have missed that. Like I heard him say it like before the match, and I was like, oh, well, then that pretty much makes me think like Lashley's winning here, and like I like Lashley being the champ. I'm not a huge Lashley fan, but since he's been the champ, or he's been this character with MVP, especially like kind of without the Hurt Business, just him by himself, like
right.
Oh, Smooth Bobby, and he kind of deserves it. Like he's been around, he had to deal with all the Lana shit like last year and stuff. Like,
oh my god.
And I don't know what they're really building. Like everybody's kind of expecting Brock to come back at some point, and they think that's who Lashley's gonna fight. I don't know what you really do with Drew now, unless Drew wins Money in the Bank and challenges Roman, and then that gives you a new person for Roman to fight, gives somebody new for,
or he gets drafted.
Drew to fight, right? That's just it. He can go over there if he wins the belt. He can go over there if he gets drafted. Change some things up. So it was a good match. Another like weird finish towards the end, but I mean you're doing the whole Hell in the Cell thing and MVP getting in the cage and like you said having refs knocked out. So you didn't need like a straight clean finish.
Not a Hell in a Cell.
So it'll be interesting to see like how Drew reacts like when they put in, because obviously he'll have some kind of interview in the ring tomorrow night and talk about how he's gonna, what his next step is and stuff.
And somebody's music is gonna hit.
Yeah, what does he do? Because like outside of fighting like for the U.S. title, and like, do we really want to see him and Sheamus again? Like we saw that last year. So
no, I feel like that's exactly what we're gonna see.
Oh, probably. I mean, you only have so many people on the roster, but with crowds coming back and pay-per-views with an audience and stuff, like you really want to believe that WWE is going to make some big changes and go all out, but at the same time, like
that's what Stephanie said today.
Yeah.
She posted that there's going to be the most surprises ever.
All right, but you almost have to have stuff beforehand to make sure you have eyes on the product and you have people in those seats and stuff like that. But it's WWE; they can look at it and go, it doesn't matter what we do. People are going to show up because they haven't been able to go to these shows. Like we can put on the same card we put on for 6 straight pay-per-views. Yeah. You're still going to come to the pay-per-view. But I hope that they'll look at it as kind of like a fresh start with maybe SummerSlam or the night after SummerSlam.
Well, and this is where I kind of think AEW is kind of missing a boat here. Like I noticed that their tour, like they don't come to the West Coast. Like they don't come over here. I would go to an AEW show if it came over here just to go. Yeah. And they're not coming anywhere near me. So it's like Mike is saying, I mean, if the price was right, I was going to go to SummerSlam. I'm thinking about going to Vegas and like
seeing what happens. Yeah.
If it doesn't sell out, it's probably like you probably get a better price.
Yeah, but say they'll start comping tickets or giving away just to say that they filled the building and set a record. And
right.
I mean, Yeah.
Because that's what they did for WrestleMania 3. Like a lot of those tickets were comp. But
unrelated
go
to that,
ahead.
did we ever get ratings for Dynamite?
I never saw it.
No.
I know that they might not want to talk because after that 483 the week before, I think they didn't want to.
Yeah. I mean,
talk about it anymore.
Friday show, I mean, obviously SmackDown being right before it and it being that late into the night, but next week is on a Saturday.
And I watched it, and it was not.
It wasn't a very good show.
With the draft, let's get into that before we get out of here. What would you want to see happen? Here's what I'm thinking, just spitballing. I want to see 4 or 5 guys go back to NXT and just build that brand up to what it was, because the last couple like that In Your House did nothing for me. That take like some of the names that they're putting on their pay-per-views now, I just feel send Ricochet back down there and let him have a year run like Balor did, build him up as a bigger name instead of having him chasing around the 24/7 title. Aleister Black would have been another name too, but he's gone.
He was backstage at this show.
Was he? Kenny said that was not correct.
It might have been a false report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kenny tweeted about that. I mean, he could have been. Maybe Zelina was there because she's supposed to be coming back.
Right.
Who knows?
Because like we've been seeing, like I think some of these guys are going to end up getting re-signed just to a not the same contract is what I think is going to happen.
That happens in football all the time. You
all the time.
Money, we got to cut you, and then we'll bring you back at a better,
Albert Pujols on the Dodgers right now.
Yeah.
He got cut by the Angels, got picked up by the Dodgers. They're paying him like $500,000.
Exactly,
and he's out there yanking home runs.
Like
he just hit a 3-run home run today, so it's like
nice, good for him.
So yeah, so NXT. So you're saying you'd like to see some of the guys that got stale on the main roster go down to NXT and let them get some shine in NXT.
Treat that like a real brand and move. Have the same amount of draft picks for NXT as you would for Raw or SmackDown.
Well, yeah, because last time we did the draft, they didn't even do anything NXT wise. So yeah, it'd be great if NXT was part of it and almost like sniped a big name. Like if you have a top 3 pick and you could pull somebody down, like, hey, we're taking Drew McIntyre. Like that's a big deal. Like as long as people look at it as almost like everyone's on an equal level, but then you've got the people who are going to say, oh, he's going down to NXT, not, oh my God, he's on NXT. Like,
but the NXT show, the weekly show, is one of the best weekly shows.
It is,
the funny part.
Right. It's just the fact that it's ratings numbers and being on a weekday, or where it is, and just people still look at it as like,
not the main roster. Sad. That's sad.
It'd be great if you could build it to be on the same level, but you almost don't want them to overbuild it because then you don't get those Gargano versus Adam Cole type matches.
And there is some development going. Like some of those matches are people that are developing.
Well, and then you've got guys like LA Knight and stuff who have been in the business for years, and they're on that show making other guys look like stars and stuff. Like you're trying to build, but obviously somebody like him is not big enough to be like a main roster star.
No, he needs that's for like hardcore and know who he is, right?
And that's why I'd like to see like supplemental draft, like Phil was talking about. Like you put Ricochet back on NXT, like he'd be over the moon about it. The like hardcore fans would be over the moon about it, but people are gonna be like, oh, like you weren't good enough to make it on the main roster.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You don't want to further diminish him, but
I do like what AEW does, and I guess you can do this when you're smaller. Is you can have like guys that don't even work for AEW wrestle. Like you can bring a Warhorse in or some of those guys, and just on Elevation or some of those guys that lose those matches. They're like indie guys that are like basically getting a tryout on TV, where that's like kind of like you're putting this on TV. This is basically a tryout for this guy. That's kind of shitty entertainment, but it's also like they're building a farm system basically of young wrestlers that okay, I'm familiar with AEW, I know how it works. I talked to Tony Khan, he likes what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna sign there instead of signing with WWE.
And then it's like AEW doing stuff with people back and forth with Impact, and they've done a couple things with New Japan, but then like last month WWE acted like they were open to the idea of doing stuff with New Japan. Like, how big of a deal would it be for WWE to bring in like Okada for a SummerSlam match? But like, if he doesn't go over, then your internet fans are going to lose their mind. Like, oh, I can't believe he had Okada lose to
Roman.
Yeah, right.
If he lost to Roman, the internet would explode.
Sure. If you could put him in a match, yeah. Well, see, that's it. It's kind of like when they brought in Jushin Thunder Liger and he fought
Prince Pretty.
Oh, yeah. So if you bring in somebody like that and he ends up fighting an Elias, then all of a sudden everybody's like, why didn't you at least give us a Cesaro or Seth Rollins or somebody on that level? So where it's like a potential 4-star, 5-star match. So it'd be great to be able to add something like an attraction match like that. Or even if they don't fight a WWE guy, just bring in like Okada or Sonata or somebody like, and they fight each other. Just put them on the card to try to get extra exposure for
their
people
title.
Who don't know these
I would
people.
have their title on the line.
And that's why, it's like AEW could do the same thing. Just bring those guys in, have them fight on their show. You get some more eyes on it. But I mean,
but those attraction matches work because when I was a kid, I totally remember like Sting going against Great Buddha, and I'm like, wait, what are they talking about? Where's he coming from? And then that's what made me say, oh, there's even some more wrestling to see, So
it makes sense. It makes you wonder how long it's going to be, like with them going back on the road before WWE is going to do a Japanese tour or another Saudi Arabia type pay-per-view, because they've still got that contract runs for a few more years. And
I mean, because I do remember the AJ Styles 365 where he was, that year he was champ, and then he really felt emotional when they got to the Tokyo Dome.
Right.
And they got to have the WWE live at Tokyo Dome, and so they definitely, when they're on tour, that's definitely in the stops there. So so it's a good thing things are opening up. I'll say that, because I am kind of like, just watching this pay-per-view, that's the other thing that kind of felt stale to me, is that I think I'm over the Thunderdome.
I mean, we're finally coming to an end technically, or it sounds like it. I don't know. Once we have that weekend of the 3 shows, the SmackDown, the SummerSlam, and then the Raw the night after, those are all with a crowd. I don't know how it's going to be after
Money in
that.
The Bank.
Like,
I wonder if
Money in the Bank has a crowd, right? But are all the SmackDowns and all the Raws going to have a live crowd?
Mm-hmm.
Because
it feels stale. It feels stale. Like, because especially like, I mean, even when you watch NXT, there's a crowd. So what are we doing? Like, I think you can, bring some people, like, just like when I was growing up in LA, if you went to the beach on a weekday, people were passing out passes to go to like game show tapings and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could do that easy in Florida.
Well, I think it's because they're under contract with the Thunder, wherever the Thunderdome is, until the end of the month.
Wow.
Beginning of July. That's what they signed for. So they're just, they're kind of running that out till the end of June, and then they're going live. So I would assume, because I don't know, if you don't go live every week, where are you gonna go? Just back to the Performance Center? It'd be a huge,
well, I mean, the NBA season's ending. They could always go back to that stadium in Orlando if they needed a place.
Yeah,
like they can keep jumping around. It just depends on, do you want to do the Thunderdome, or at what point does everything become a live show with a crowd again?
Right. And I think you can, like, literally last second just go out to like, where a mall or something and say, hey, we're about to tape WWE Raw, and you would get you could get some people in there to make noise.
Yeah, I mean, as much as things are opening up, I think it's still going to depend on what cities and states allow you to have how many people in a building and stuff like that. Like, I guess there's still going to be some procedures for that. So if you had to run a live show at the same building, like week in and week out, like I get NXT because that's like a couple hundred people, but you're not going to get 3, 5, 10,000 people to show up at the same arena in Orlando every week, unless the tickets are free.
Yeah. You don't even need that many.
No, you just need enough to make it look like the bottom half.
AEW,
camera
what,
side,
they have like maybe 200 people there on a taping.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Phil said, I think the draft is gonna be interesting because especially being on two different networks, like Fox is gonna want their stars.
Yep.
USA is gonna want their stars. They're not gonna let them stack one over the other, really. So you're gonna have Roman on a show, you're gonna have Drew on a show, but when we had the last one, Charlotte wasn't on TV. She was out. She got drafted. So, like, if Becky hasn't came back to TV, will she get drafted? Do they draft some of these other people like Bray Wyatt and stuff, or do those people just come back at some point and then they're just part of the roster?
Well, I say it's time to. I think Adam Cole has proven.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think he's proved that he can handle being on the main roster.
Yeah, as much as people hated them breaking up that group, like it was going to be hard to bring them all up together. So I think it's better that he's on his own.
He's like the Shawn Michaels of the group, though. I'm just not. The
Oh,
O'Reilly thing. The O'Reilly thing is just
he's
not working
clearly
for me.
above. The other three can wrestle, but his total package, outside of him, just height disadvantage. Like we saw that in the carrying cross match. Like he powered over those other four guys. That's why those matches look so good when they wrestle each other. They're all the same size, but you put Adam Cole on the roster, he's going to look like Ricochet because he's that size. He's not the size of a Lashley or Roman or anything like that. He's not even the size of an Uso.
but Adam Cole could wrestle a broom.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, size, his height's not going to matter. He's going to put on the matches.
Yep.
Can you guys name the 6 people in last year's Money in the Bank?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Women's
match or men's match?
Men's. Who cares about
men's?
So you had Otis.
I was like, Otis won.
Okay, you had Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, because he fell off the roof.
Right. Let's see. Did we have Orton?
No Orton.
No Orton.
I'm trying to think because it was the one at the WWE headquarters, so they fought.
It was at the headquarters, yeah.
So they fought downstairs, or it started downstairs. Well, it was the same time as the women's match. Like it was that weird clusterfuck of
you had to get up
everybody
to the
running through.
Yeah, and then they even had the food fight in the middle of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I'm trying to think of who was in the food. That's how I'm trying to remember names here. Let's see.
Wow. The two people I can remember are the two people I don't care about.
Because you had Ray get thrown off the building, and everybody's like, "So wait, what does that mean?"
He was back the next day. Fine.
Yeah, and then you had Otis.
Well, they said he fell. They said he fell to like the next little level down or something.
Yeah.
So
Of course,
it's not like he actually fell off the building.
Kind of like the giant falling off the monster truck.
AJ Styles was in that match because I think he's one of the guys that. Yeah, he's one of the guys that
dropped the case.
Like whenever that happened, but whenever Mysterio got thrown, I think they both fell or they ran into each other.
Okay.
Corbin was in that match.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Need 2 more. There's one you're not going to get at all.
Trying to think of who was relevant last year.
Right. Oh, let's see. So let's see.
No, Kofi.
No.
God, were they even on that card? Kofi and them?
All right, I'll give you one. Daniel Bryan.
Okay. I remember Dan. Oh, Aleister Black.
Yeah, Aleister Black.
Yeah, because now I remember Aleister Black kicking people. What a weird group of.
Yeah. He went like a year without a match, and then he went like another year after that without. Like he was just randomly thrown in that match. They probably needed one more. Well, we got one more spot. Just put Aleister Black in there.
Wow.
Yeah. Women's matches are much better.
No, because that was like Dana Brooke, Carmella, Asuka, Shayna,
Lacey.
Oh.
Is that it? So one more.
How is Lacey? Does Lacey Evans had her baby yet? I feel like
no. She just now revealed what she was having.
I feel like Brandy Rhodes was pregnant for like 3 months.
Like, wait, she had it?
Yeah.
We need you back on TV. You got to have that baby faster faster than 9 months.
Yeah, but
so you could go throw another drink in Shaq's face and start that feud over.
It's crazy. Crazy, even with a pandemic, how much things have changed in a year. As much as we want to say every match has been the same for the last year, like Otis won the Money in the Bank. Becky gave up the title after Money in the Bank. Like,
right.
All that was within the last year.
Yeah.
So maybe we see Becky.
Yeah, I feel like Becky, I'd love to see her in the Money in the Bank, but does she have to be in it? Does she not just go, I never lost the title? Like, doesn't she just deserve a title shot?
Just give me the title.
So a title shot on the
just
card.
Give it to me. I'm the champ.
A title shot on the card, and then.
But I don't want to see her fight Charlotte Rhea would be fine, but you would expect her to win. Like, but then if she fought Bianca, you just clearly expect Becky's going to win. So. But if you put her in the Money in the Bank, everybody's going to, well, she's going to win. Like, it's Becky.
Right. Now, let her, I would, my opinion, I'd let her chase for a while.
Sure.
Yeah. But, yeah, I wouldn't be putting titles on her as soon as she walks through the curtain. Like, geez.
No.
Because that was part of the appeal. We kind of enjoyed watching her chase.
Well, I mean, she has a kid, so, and her husband works there, too. So it's like, I don't even know how that really works, being back on the road. Like
that they had, the last SummerSlam, they had a couples match. So.
What do you travel on the road with the kid? You hire a nanny?
They got money for it. They definitely got money for a nanny. Yeah, I would do how CM Punk used to have his own bus.
Sure, they're definitely getting that.
Yeah, so have the bus, have the nanny. Bam.
Oh yeah.
All right, folks. Well,
be an interesting pay-per-view. It's only 4 weeks away. So obviously tomorrow night or the week after, you have to start having qualifying matches for
I think
Money in the Bank.
So you actually might have some interesting stuff at least on SmackDown.
I mean, you either have you either have total new matches you've never had before to make spots in those matches, or everyone who's been fighting each other, like Nakamura versus Corbin, is a spot.
King
Rollins,
Nakamura.
yeah.
King Nakamura.
Rollins versus Cesaro is a spot.
I want to figure now. I want to figure with Nakamura in a crown.
The fact that they're going to call him the king. Calling the king without winning the King of the Ring, what a sham.
Well, I mean, even they were talking about, it is true. They used to have matches for the crown with Lawler. So that's we just had an old school, I'm putting the crown on the line kind of thing.
Well, I mean, but outside of a King of the Ring,
but there should be a tournament. I do. Agree
well, who's the last person to be a king without winning a King of the Ring? Is it like Savage or Haku or Harley Race? It's got to be somebody like that. Everyone else has always won King of the Ring.
King of the Ring. But yeah, it's you basically went down the line of the people that were kings.
I love a good tournament. I love King of the Ring. I love when they used to do the IC title tournaments.
Yeah,
when they were vacated.
Somebody would win the world.
Savage winning the belt at WrestleMania 4. I like a good tournament, a one-night tournament.
I do too. Yeah, so that might be something to freshen up these pay-per-views. Have a yearly, get King of the Ring back yearly, or every now and then have a title dispute where okay, we're making this vacant and we're gonna have a tournament for it.
What's the chances that the Big E New Day split hasn't worked the way they wanted it to? Do they put them back 100%. On the same show after the draft?
I say 100% didn't go the way he thought.
Everyone expected Lashley, Big E as a singles guy. They were like, "Oh, I hate the split, but my God, he's going to be the world champion by WrestleMania. He's going to win the Rumble." None of that happened.
I didn't know about world champ. I thought he had
I still think in the next year he could be the world champion, but I just feel like you almost have to have him on the same show. You can have him in those matches. He can also be a singles wrestler, but at the same time, they might keep him apart just so that they can say they're committed to him being a singles wrestler.
Yeah.
And you've been having at the same time, you've been having like the kind of the underbelly storyline here of Kofi, like MVP, getting in Kofi's ear and Kofi getting an attitude about it. So, so you have that. You got to think about that too. But so lots that can happen that we, like too bad we don't have the pencil for WWE. We could probably help them out because half of that is probably not gonna happen.
I'm about to say lots can happen. Will any of it happen? No, in WWE. Nope. All rematches at Money in the Bank.
Oh God. But I mean, like you said, like it's like they're in a holding pattern. It feels like a holding pattern for SummerSlam because that's like the WrestleMania for the summer kind of thing. But they got to come with it. Like I'll just say that they might even want to think about having they won't be a 2-night thing because they already are selling tickets. But I want to see the surprises. I want to see some new people. I want to hear somebody's music that we haven't heard in a long time and they pop out, so
Ascension or something.
Yeah. If Ascension came out, I might turn the channel. Just be like, that's it.
I'm done watching wrestling now.
Yeah, I might. I'll just show up for the podcast. And
Jinder Mahal's coming back. He's winning Money in the Bank.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll be able to sell his figure that no one wants to
figure that nobody wants. Oh, let me tell you how the AEW number would go up if Jinder Mahal won Money in the Bank.
Oh my God. All right, well, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. We'll do it again in 4 weeks. Hopefully, Tom's feeling okay from his hockey injury and
gotta ice those knees.
Yeah, but he said he was. He said he was taking a shower.
No,
it's Sunday night. Get on that. He's had a long couple of weeks. He had to travel to Baltimore. He spent like all of his money.
He probably did.
I think he spent more than me, Phil, and DJ put together.
Like
he got a grail out of it, and
the guy's like a sailor on leave when he goes somewhere.
Oh my God!
Awesome cash.
All
right. Buy this for your son. Oh, thanks, man.
Thanks, man. It's not even his birthday.
I mean, he is very charitable. I mean, he doesn't just think about himself. I will say that about Tom.
That's true.
He thinks about everybody.
That is 100% true. All right. Well, I know it's getting late in the East Coast.
Yep.
And I got some Mass Effect to play, so
it
was great. It's always great talking to you guys. I know like we didn't have a lot of watches, but I think it'll like people will probably come back and watch it later.
I think so. Yeah.
Again, Father's Day. I know people like, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I know like you probably had a few today.
Yeah.
So
happy Father's Day to both of you. I enjoyed
thank you.
I enjoyed the watch along with Nash today before I went to work. So
nice.
He didn't say shit, but
hey, but it's a kid. He enjoyed it. He had fun.
He did like it. Yeah. And it was like he was amazed that I found a match with. He just named 2 random people. Oh, Rey Mysterio and Edge. Okay, well they did wrestle.
Yeah.
So,
we got to do. I think we got to do some more watch-alongs.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah.
All right,
y'all.
See you guys. Peace.
Later.